I also wanted to point out one difference between reel-to-reels and vinyl players. When I grew up, I always thought about reel-to-reels to be the higher end machines and the more preferable ones. But now with the vinyl hype, I realized, of course usually without pickup of dust and scratches, the quality should be higher. However, drawbacks of reel-to-reel are you cannot get so much pre-recorded music, and when you can, it's usually highly expensive. And also, you do not have random access. If you want to access something, you need to fast forward or rewind quite a bit of tape, which is also running usually through the heads. And as I mentioned earlier, rewinding enormous amounts of tape can also at times leave residual material on your heads, especially on older tapes. And also when you store magnetic tapes for a long time, say 10 or 20 years, the magnetic sound pattern is pressing through to the next layer of the tape, and you can really hear this. So after storing for some years, you can hear a play-through echo of some seconds later or so, magnetically imposed on the next layer of the tape. So this is also, in my opinion, not that desirable property of magnetic tape systems. That is what I realized is preferable on the vinyl side, that you have random access to a song. And you also do not have this playthrough. So if you store these vinyls carefully for even a decade or two, like this one, you don't have any kind of playthrough. If you avoid storing them in sunshine and warm temperatures and such, and they are still okay and not scratched and not dusty and such, you still have more or less the same audio quality than 2 decades ago, which is something you do not necessarily have on the reel-to-reel side. These were just my 2 cents I wanted to give you as tip if you are thinking about investing into vintage analog machines. And now let's show you how they sound. I hope I can upload this to YouTube without having it content ID matched. So playing a song, vinyl versus reel-to-reel. So the same procedure for the turntable. So, and I try some sound quality samples. As I do not have better audio gear with me, I capture this with the tape output here, straight into the microphone input of this camera, and I tested this before with the lowest microphone amplifier setting of I think minus 12 dB, so that worked surprisingly well. So let's see. Going back and comparing this to the reel-to-reel experience with recording on this vintage tapes. In the meantime, I got new Maxell reels there just for the fun of it, with old magnetic tape on there. So I recorded this sample last night from my MacBook Pro, and again, that is the analog drawback, that on this reel-to-reels you need to record something yourself, while on a vinyl player you can at least purchase pre-recorded music. With a reel-to-reel you need to record from another source, degrading the quality even just so slightly already. So
Wine and cigarettes,